A lot of red flags. What do those red flags mean? Jason Lamm, that's the interpretation of this detective, this investigator. But if the jury is thinking the same thing as they hear this evidence, that's trouble for Tammi Smith.
Well, Vinny, I was looking at body language. That's really what I wanted to focus upon when I was in that courtroom, to really look at the jury. And it's certainly not a science, you know that. But, when you just heard the detective sound, when they were talking about the fact that eventually Logan would just say, screw it, and walk away. He wouldn't want to pay child support. He wouldn't, take his visitation. There was one juror, he started shaking his head side to side and laughing. They were disgusted by that. And that sort of planning, with an attorney, without attorney, that's exactly the type of thought process and actions that the prosecutor's saying.
Yep, Jason, I got to interrupt you here for a moment, Jason. Hate to do that, but the judge is on the bench. Let's listen in.
I'm going to be gone all week. I thought Mr. Smith would take the stand before this week, but it is what it is. I believe the state is still in their case. I'm not going to be available to be here should he take the stand. I assume that if that happens, it's going to be sometime this week. And my suggestion to Ms. Phillips was that perhaps a court could appoint another attorney to represent Mr. Smith should he testify in this case, since I'm not going to be available.
Okay, if I appoint another attorney, do you think that they're going to have, well, number one, will you have the ability to speak with that attorney to make sure you bring him or her up to speed such that they don't have to reinvent the wheel with Mr. Smith? And second, have you discussed this? I don't want you to tell me what your discussions were with Mr. Smith, but will this come as a surprise to Mr. Smith?
No.
Okay. I don't have any issue with proceeding that way. Any issue from the state's perspective with appointing new counsel for Mr. Smith?
No, Your Honor.
Any problem from the defense perspective?
No.
I think Mr. Smith is probably going to testify either tomorrow or Wednesday based on my understanding of the schedule now, so I'm glad you've proactively come forward. So it's ordered appointing new counsel for Mr. Smith. We will make sure that the word gets out and we have someone appointed by today. And we'll communicate with you regarding who that is and make sure they also reach out to you so you can discuss it with them. And they hopefully will have an opportunity to talk with Mr. Smith at some length before his testimony.
Certainly.
All right.
Thank you, Judge.
Mr. Morrison, thank you. Okay, anything else that anyone needs to talk about before we go get the jury?
Not from the state, Your Honor.
Anything from defendant's perspective? Okay. So I think what we're going to do then, and it may take a few minutes for us to get the jury, so I'm probably going to step out. We're going to go ahead and get the jury and bring them back in. Let's make sure we